know what color you are or how to choose your shade in the Natasha Denona Hyglam Concealer, this video is for you. It is for you. Not everyone has a Sephora near them or can easily go to Sephora, or perhaps we're lazy. We like shopping online. And so this video is gonna help you choose the right shade for you the first time, so you don't have to do any annoying returns. I'm gonna translate your shade from the NARS concealer into the Natasha Denona Concealer, as well as the Hourglass shades into the Natasha Denona Concealers. If you don't have either of those, and then stick around till the end of the video, because at the end, I'm gonna show you how you can choose it just like on your ones, on your own. The shade coding is very confusing. It's like NYPX RSTWABCD, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot. And so if you have no idea what the codes mean, then I got you. I'm gonna teach you how to find your perfect shade. But before we get into all of that work, let's just find out if this concealer is even for you in the first place. So what is this concealer? First of all, it's gonna be an ultra long wearing concealer. So if you guys like your makeup to stay from day to night, this is gonna be perfect for you. And the best part is that it doesn't crease. I hate when you put on a concealer and maybe an hour into wearing it, you start seeing the little lines that form underneath and like this one line that comes where your crease is. I hate that. This is not gonna do that. This concealer starts off as a medium coverage and then it builds up to full. So if you are trying to cover dark circles, this concealer is gonna be perfect for you. If you're trying to cover acne and scarring, this concealer is going to be perfect for you. The thing that confused a lot of people, especially in the Sephora comments, was like, how can it be luminous and matte at the same time? I did some research and let me tell you, it's going to be matte because it doesn't have any sparkles, glitters, micropigments, but it's not gonna be a flat matte. Do you guys remember the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer where it was like flat matte, cakey? It's not gonna be like that. So how is it luminous then? It has a blend of synthetic pigments which mimics a biochemical process, or in other words, biomimetic pigments. And what it does is it mimics how kind of like radiant and like glowy the skin is. So that's why it's not completely flat matte. It's gonna have some radiance to it. Then it also has these texture perfecting microspheres, and so that's gonna give your skin like a very smooth, very light diffused appearance. So basically when you put these two things together, you get this radiance to the skin that is like naturally occurring, but it's not sparkles, it's not glitter, it's just like this natural glow. And it's gonna give you this like shine-free, radiant consistency. It's amazing. So what skin type is this going to be good for? So if you have mature skin, I feel like you're gonna love this. I think you're gonna love this, and I'll tell you why. Because it has, and I'm reading it right now, it has an ingredient called capsicum annuum leaf. Guys, what is that? What is that? It's a vegetable leaf. It's very obscure. You've probably never heard of it before. It's a bell pepper. It's literally a bell pepper, but what does this bell pepper leaf do? What it does is over time, it reduces the appearance of puffiness and dark circles. So if you wear this over a 28-day period, you're gonna see those effects. I personally have not worn this consecutively enough to be able to say that's true, but those were the claims after a clinical study of like 30 people having done it. Do we believe them? I don't know. Try it out. Let me know. If you do have mature skin, make sure that you're prepping with a nice moisturizer and that you're finishing off with a setting powder. You can even use a primer that is tailored to your skin concerns. But I would say if you do have mature skin, make sure that you're doing a little bit of skin prep and that you're finishing it off so that, you know, you're just being extra certain that it doesn't crease or cake up. What other skin types is this gonna be right for? So if you have dry skin, oily skin, combo skin, normal skin, you guys are set. This concealer is good for any skin type. I myself am normal leaning dry, and I can definitely attest to the fact that this works for my normal dry skin. If you guys are sensitive to fragrance, this does not have any fragrance in it. So if you know fragrance gives you migraines or anything like that, you're good in this camp. And then also guys, it's gonna be vegan, cruelty-free, talc-free, and it's made in Italy. 7 milliliters or 0.25 ounces. And without further ado, let's get into the shade matching portion of the video. So we're gonna start with NARS. I'm just gonna read off my computer. So guys, I'm gonna give you the Sephora recommendation, and then I also was like, let's be sure that this is exactly correct, and I'm gonna give you my recommendation as well. If you are Chantilly, how do you even like pronounce that? If you are Chantilly L1 in the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, then my recommendation would be Y1. Sephora did not have a recommendation for this concealer. If you guys are Affogato, L1.25. Sephora's recommendation is N1 if you're like a fair neutral, or R2 if you have kind of like a reddish undertone. Also check out P1, that could be good for you. So make sure that you're kind of looking at those 3 shades and seeing what makes sense for you. Vanilla L2, Sephora's recommendation is N1 Fair Neutral. My recommendation, like by swatching it in the store, was YP3. If you guys have a neutral undertone, definitely go with Sephora's recommendation of N1. If you guys have a yellow undertone, make sure like a warm undertone, make sure that you're checking out YP3 because I think that will be good for you. Nougatine L2.2. If that is your shade in the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, check out N2 Fair Neutral. Madeline L2.3. Sephora did not have a recommendation there, so I would say N1 for you guys. And then if you are Cafe au Lait 2.4, check out N4. I think that's going to be good for you. Creme Brulee L2.5 in the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. Check out, okay, here's the thing. Sephora had a number of recommendations for this one. So if you're creme brulee, here are the shades that you could be. RN3, which is like a light rosy. You could be N4, which is a light neutral, or you could be N3, which is a fair light neutral, or N2, which is also a fair light neutral, or N6, which is a light neutral. That's a lot, guys. Make sure that you're sticking till the end of the video if you are creme brulee, and I can show you how you guys can make an educated decision based off of Sephora's recommendation. Café con leche. Sephora did not have a recommendation for café con leche, so my recommendation would be N2 or YN6. If you're neutral, N2, a little bit more warm toned, YN6. Cannelle. So if you are that shade in the NARS concealer, check out YN9, which is like a medium yellow, and I concur with Sephora's recommendation on that one. Marron Glacé L2.8. Sephora's recommendation was YN9, which is a medium yellow, also great, and I would concur. Honey L3. So check out RN3, which is like a light rosy shade. If you are Crema Catalina N0, also, you have a couple of choices here. You have N2 Fair Light Neutral, you have N3 Fair Light Neutral, or N4 Fair Light Neutral. If you are Custard M1, N2 Fair Light Neutral, N3 Fair Light Neutral, or N4 Light Neutral would also be your shades in the Natasha Denona Concealer. I don't know why that took so long. If you are Toffee M.125, Sephora did not give a recommendation, so I would say try Y4 or YP3 depending on how bright of an under eye you want. Macadamia M1.5, Sephora did not give a recommendation, so YP8 is my recommendation. If you are Tiramisu M1.75, Sephora recommends RN3 Light Rosy. I did a little bit of fact checking on that, and I would recommend N6 if you are a neutral undertone, or YN6 if you lean slightly more warm. So you have a couple of shades to choose from there. If you're Praline M3, Sephora does not have a recommendation. My recommendation would be YP8, which is like medium to medium deep with kind of like definitely a warm undertone. Biscuit MD1, honestly just going forward, Sephora does not have any recommendations for these shades, so these are all my recommendations. Biscuit MD1 is going to be YN9 or YN11. If you are Sucre d'Orge, I don't know, like sucre for sure means sugar in French, but what does d'orge mean? It looks like d'ogre. MD 1.5 in the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, then you are kind of like a peach medium deep, and so you should be looking for Y10 in the Natasha Denona. Caramel MD2, then check out Y12. If you are MD 2.5 Chestnut in the NARS, then actually Sephora has a recommendation for this, which is RN7, Registered Nurse 7, medium cool deep. Okay, so this is what you're gonna be. You know what, guys? I disagree. I disagree. I think it's RP6 or P7. Again, stay till the end of this video so I can help you guys show you how to make the best decision with these recommendations. Walnut MD26, my recommendation is P8. It's gonna be like this deep kind of orange undertone to it. Truffle MD 2.75, check out RP8. Amande MD 3, check out NR 13 in the Natasha Denona. If you are Hazelnut MD 4, check out NP 14. If you are Chocolat D0, check out Y13 Natasha Denona. If you are Cafe D1 in the NARS, then check out P10 in the Natasha Denona. If you are Cacao D2 in the NARS, check out YN14 in the Natasha Denona. If you are Dark Coffee D3, check out NY16 in the Natasha Denona. Those are my recommendations. Great, we got NARS out of the way. Now let's check out the Hourglass. Moving on to the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Concealer. So if you are in the shade Cream, you're gonna be N1 in the Natasha Denona. If you are in the shade Oat, you're gonna be YP3 in the Natasha Denona. Cedar is N4. Fawn is Y7. Sepia is N7. Apricot is RP8. Topaz is N8. We're breezing through. Dune is P5. Flax is NP10. Maple is N7. Teak is NR. Did I mean RN? I must have meant RN. RN13. But I wrote down NR. Hold on. Let's double check. It is NR, guys. It is NR. NR13. If you are Brandy, you are N7. If you are Velvet, you will be Y7. If you are Mocha, you will be NP14. If you are Anise, you will be YN6. If you are Pearl, you are N8. If you are Beach, you are N9. Sandwich is drinking water from her water bowl. If you are Sienna, you are N8. If you are Cotton, you are P1. If you are Umber, you are going to be NP14. If you are Silk, you're going to be RN3. If you are Birch, you're going to be RN1. Okay. So those are my recommendations. If you don't have either of these concealers, or I gave you a couple of options for your shade, let's talk about how you can choose the right shade for yourself with your own jurisdiction. First thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna go over and you're gonna look at your veins, okay, in like broad ass daylight. You're gonna look at them and say, okay, are they purple blue, blue green, or are they kind of like an olive green? If you look at your veins and you're like, they look purple, that means you have a neutral undertone. So any of the shades that end in N and Y and P and R are in your wheelhouse, in your realm. If you look at your veins and they look rosy to you, the shade codes would be anything that ends in R. So you could be like R, RP, which is rosy peach, NR, which is neutral rosy. So anything with the letter R, you're gonna wanna check out. If you look at your veins and they're like a bluish green, that means you have a peach undertone. You're gonna be looking for the letter P. So you could be just plain P, which is peach, RP, which is rosy peach, YP, which is yellow peach. If you look at your veins and they are kind of like an olive green color, you are Y, yellow. So you could be Y, which is just yellow, or your shade code could be YN, which is yellow neutral, or you could be YP, which is Y peach, or you could be NY, which is yellow neutral. Oh, and then one thing I want to tell you is that like when you look at this, look at the applicator. That's different. How are you supposed to use this? Well, you can use the tip anywhere where it's like hard to reach, so like around the nasal folds. You can use it in the tear duct or to snatch and like lift your eye. If you have a large kind of like under area that you want to correct, definitely use the flat end of the brush. So you have a lot of versatility with this little applicator. I am obsessed with this concealer, guys. I would highly, highly recommend it. That has been the full breakdown on the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. I hope you guys found this helpful. This was a very thorough kind of how to choose your shade, how to use it, who is this gonna be right for. If you like makeup videos just like this, my name is Michelle Bally. I am the makeup tester. I test all the makeup to help you guys make better purchasing decisions. So if that sounds good to you, make sure that you're hitting subscribe, and I cannot wait to see you guys next week.